My brother demanded I cancel Thanksgiving dinner unless it was vegan, or he'd boycott. If there's turkey, we're out. Mom can deal with it, he scoffed. I said, perfect. Less whining, more pie. He showed up anyway, made a scene, and forgot his dog when they stormed out. Now he's blocked, and I'm keeping the dog. Guess I got the better sibling. So, I, 31F, bought my childhood home this year after my parents downsized for retirement. And somehow, that means I've inherited the responsibility of hosting Thanksgiving and all the family baggage that comes with it. For context, I'm a critical care physician, which means my schedule is chaotic, my free time is rare, and my tolerance for BS is, well, let's say it's in short supply. But I love my mom. She's had a rough year with some health issues that I won't get into in detail, but it's enough that she's feeling her mortality and wants one last normal Thanksgiving in the house where we made all our family memories. I can't say no to that. So, I agreed to host. Enter my older brother Mark, 35M. Mark has always been intense. He went vegetarian in high school after watching some PETA video in AP Bio and has made it his entire identity ever since. That would have been fine if he didn't immediately start proselytizing like he was on a one-man crusade to convert the family. My dad shut that down pretty quickly. He's an old-school Southern man who believes bacon belongs in basically everything. But Mark only got more militant over the years. In college, he went full vegan. Then he got weird about it. Like, posting graphic slaughterhouse footage on Facebook on Easter morning? Weird. The final straw for me was when I held my birthday dinner at a steakhouse a few years ago, and Mark blew up my phone with photos of crying cows and, how would you feel if someone celebrated your death with appetizers? I blocked him for a year and didn't miss him once. But my parents, bless them, have been trying to get the family back together. And to Mark's credit, he did seem a little less unbearable recently. I cautiously unblocked him. We even exchanged a few normal texts about our mom's health and sent each other dumb memes. Progress, right? Then he started dating Pam. Pam is, well, if you took a Goop newsletter, a juice cleanse cult, and an Etsy crystal shop and made them into a person, you'd get Pam. She's some kind of vegan lifestyle influencer. I don't know how many followers she has, but she's constantly creating content and tagging brands I've never heard of. Her entire vibe is like if a Whole Foods aisle learned to talk. I don't follow her, but my cousin sent me one of her TikToks once where she weeped in slow motion next to a pig and called it a soul sibling. Anyway, last Thanksgiving, Mark and Pam issued an ultimatum. If there was any meat at the table, they wouldn't come. My mom caved because she wanted everyone together, so she cooked an entire vegetarian meal, something she had never done before in her 60 years of life, and it was awful. Not just the food, although tofu turkey is a sin against nature, but the atmosphere. Mark and Pam judged every ingredient, asked invasive questions about where the vegetables were sourced, and gave us a speech about dairy cruelty while we were trying to eat mashed potatoes. No one had seconds. My uncle left halfway through and said he had suddenly remembered a dentist appointment. My dad drank half a bottle of wild turkey and just stared at the wall. A memorable holiday. For all the wrong reasons. So this year, when I agreed to host, I made one thing crystal clear in the group chat. I'm making a traditional Thanksgiving meal. Turkey, stuffing with sausage, gravy made with drippings. And yes, there will be plenty of sides that are meatless for anyone who wants them. If Mark and Pam want to bring their own food or send me a recipe for a vegan main, I'll happily make it. But I'm not overhauling the whole menu again. Immediately, Pam starts flooding the chat with links to recipes. Lentil loaf, cashew cheese, something called stuffed gratitude squash. She also suggested I do a full, cruelty-free table spread and link the meal with a sustainability theme. I told her politely but firmly that she could send one recipe and I'd try to make it work, but I'm not changing the entire meal. Mark flips, says I'm being exclusionary, that it's unethical to host a slaughter celebration and expect them to be part of it. He says if there's any meat served, they won't come. At this point, my mom steps in and calls me. She sounds tired and upset. She says she understands how I feel, but can't I please just do what I did last year? Just one more time? For her? Because it might be the last Thanksgiving where we're all together? Cue guilt tsunami. Here's the thing. I love my mom. I'd do anything for her. But last year sucked for everyone. And I am exhausted. I have maybe 6 hours free that day between hospital shifts, and I want to spend it eating real food with people I love. Not dodging passive-aggressive comments from my brother and being filmed for his girlfriend's next sanctimonious vlog. My dad, who rarely picks sides, texted me privately and said he supports me, that he's tired of walking on eggshells, that Mark and Pam can either show up, eat some mashed potatoes and keep their mouths shut, or stay in their damn van. Oh yeah, Did I mention they live in a van now? Van life, according to Pam. They park near parks and live stream themselves making oat milk and mushroom jerky, which is fine. Except they have no room to host anything themselves, and I'm not about to let them cook tofu turkey in my kitchen or let their enormous, untrained dog chew through my furniture. I just wanted to do something kind for my mom. Now it feels like I'm being blackmailed into having a Thanksgiving I won't enjoy in my own home. And if I don't cave, am I really choosing a bird over my family? So Reddit, AITA, edit. Okay, I didn't expect this to blow up overnight. Thanks for the awards and thoughtful replies. To answer some common questions. No, Mark and Pam will not even enter the house if they know meat is being cooked or served at all. So no, I can't just make them separate food. No, I can't host on a different day or do 2 meals. My work schedule is already brutal that week, and I'm covering a night shift before and a day shift after. 1 meal is all I've got in me. They can't host. Their van doesn't have an oven and is currently parked behind a gas station in a town 3 hours away. Also, the last time Pam tried to host anything, it involved dehydrated seaweed snacks and a live meditation circle via Zoom. I'm seriously considering just swapping shifts and working through Thanksgiving. Eating a sad turkey sandwich at the hospital sounds less stressful than dealing with this circus. Edit 2. Update. My dad reached his limit and called Mark last night. Told him in no uncertain terms that if he doesn't show up to Thanksgiving, keep his opinions to himself, and support mom without causing drama, then he can consider himself disowned and disinherited. Apparently, there were threats about blocking future emergency van repairs too. Mark said he'd come. Pam is still deciding. My dad ordered the turkey. I'm prepping the usual meal. One of the nurses I work with, who's vegan and not a nightmare, offered to make a couple of her favorite dishes for me to serve as a compromise. I'll heat them up day of. We'll see how it goes. I'm not holding my breath. Update. Hey Reddit. I wasn't going to post again, but a few people messaged asking how Thanksgiving turned out. I finally had enough downtime post-holiday and post-night shift from hell to sit down and share. Buckle up. If you read my last post, you know the setup. I was hosting Thanksgiving in my childhood home, which I bought when my parents downsized. My brother Mark and his influencer girlfriend Pam weren't going to come unless I made the entire meal vegetarian. I said no. My dad told Mark to suck it up or get cut out of the will. Mark said he'd come. Pam was undecided. Well, they both showed up anyway, without telling anyone. The night before Thanksgiving, around 9:30 p.m., I'm sitting on the couch in scrubs, half asleep and debating if I should go to bed or inhale leftover Thai food when I hear a knock. It's them. In full van life glory, parked halfway across my driveway, headlights aimed directly at my neighbor's fence, and their enormous German Shepherd mix barking like he's discovered a new planet. Pam comes to the door wearing, I don't even know, some kind of asymmetrical linen romper thing layered over yoga pants and Birkenstocks, smelling like patchouli and disappointment. Mark has his "Plants Are Friends" hoodie on and immediately asks if they can crash in my guest room because it's getting colder than expected. No, absolutely not. I tell them, politely at first, that I wasn't expecting them to stay the night and that my guest room's not prepped. Also, big issue, the dog. I love animals, but I don't have a fenced yard, and I don't want a 70-pound dog who's never been inside my house running wild through it. They protest. They say they can sleep in the van in my driveway if they can plug in. Nope. Sorry. My outdoor outlets aren't set up for that kind of load. Pam starts guilt-tripping me. It's so heartless to turn away family the night before a holiday. Girl, you threatened not to come at all unless I nuked a turkey on live TV. Then they try calling my mom, my poor mom, who thought everything was settled and was already tucked in for the night. She offers for them to stay at their new place, but they live in a 55-plus community with strict HOA rules. No overnight guests under 50 unless you're married and or have a medical exemption. Yes, it's that kind of place. I end up paying for a hotel room down the road because I'm too tired to keep arguing. $190, gone. I let the dog chill in my garage with some blankets and water because the hotel doesn't take pets that size. I'm low-key pissed, but whatever. It's one night. I wake up at 6 a.m. to start cooking. My partner, who had taken the overnight dog shift, bless him, makes coffee and we get to work. My mom and dad show up around 9. My great aunt, who makes the world's best cornbread dressing, and my cousin arrives soon after. It's calm, peaceful. We even put on a little jazz and sip cider. I'm starting to think maybe, just maybe, this will go okay. Then at 11 a.m. the van rolls up again like the opening act to a very weird festival. Pam walks in first. I notice right away that she reeks of weed, and it's not legal here. My dad raises an eyebrow but says nothing. Mark trails behind her, red-eyed, and looking like he hasn't slept in 3 days. They brought nothing. Not even a bottle of wine, a side dish, nothing. Just themselves, a duffel bag, and the dog. Pam immediately starts taking selfies in my kitchen. I'm trying to juggle mashed potatoes and sweet potato casserole while she's angling her phone for optimal morning light. Then she starts asking what's in every dish. Not in a casual way, like full interrogation mode. Pam, is there dairy in this? Me. Yeah, it's mac and cheese. Pam. What kind of butter did you use? Me. Butter? Pam. Ugh, okay, I'll just make do. Cool, love the vibe. Then she finds my great aunt, who's in her mid-80s and has zero time for nonsense, and tells her she can't believe Southern people still eat this way. It's so dated and colonizer-coded. Y'all. My aunt gives her a smile so sharp it could slice ham and says, "Bless your heart, sugar." That's a lot of words for someone who brought nothing but judgment. She walks away humming gospel music. Pam eventually gets ushered into the living room by my cousin. Mark corners my partner in the hallway to talk about vaccine nanotech and meat-induced dementia. My dad lets it go because, quote, at least he's not talking about the damn lentil loaf. Finally, we plate up. I've got a beautiful spread. Turkey, honey ham, dressing, green beans, candied yams, cranberry sauce, you name it. And yes, I also had 2 full vegan casseroles, courtesy of my nurse coworker. Sweet potato quinoa bake, and a kale and white bean gratin. Nobody was being excluded. Pam takes one look and announces she'll just have greens. Ends up with a tiny scoop of plain green beans and 1 crescent roll, then keeps wrinkling her nose every few minutes. Says the smell of death is giving her a headache. I ignore it until she disappears. 15 minutes later, I go upstairs to get more napkins from the hall closet, and I hear something. It's Pam, in my bedroom, filming a video. I open the door and there she is, phone in hand, ring light from her bag propped up on my nightstand, talking softly into the camera about setting boundaries when your family doesn't align with your ethical values. She's in my room. She gasps when she sees me and says, "Oh, I thought this was the guest room. I just needed a moment away from the smell." Bitch. The guest room is downstairs, behind a closed door. And also, who goes into a bedroom uninvited? I tell her to shut it down immediately. That if she posts anything recorded in my house without my permission, I'll press charges. Because, yep, it's illegal here to record video inside someone's home without consent. She starts crying. You don't understand, this is my work. Then Mark appears behind me, having heard the commotion, and starts calling me controlling and cruel and, wait for it, a bitch. Guess who overheard that? My partner, who promptly tells my dad. Dad pulls Mark outside for a talk. 15 minutes later, Mark comes back in looking like he's swallowed a lemon. Tells Pam it's time to go before traffic gets bad. They do a hasty, awkward goodbye to my mom. They don't even say bye to me. They drive off, leaving their dog behind. No joke. I go to check the garage later and the poor dog is still there, tail wagging like he's just happy to be alive. I call Mark. He doesn't pick up. I text him. Nothing. 2 hours later, he finally calls back, screaming at me that I'm toxic, that I made Pam cry, and that I should just keep the damn dog since I have to control everything anyway, and then he hangs up. So I still have the dog. He's adorable, big, goofy, knocked over a houseplant, but he's learning. Pam hasn't posted anything from inside the house, thankfully. One of my cousins follows her and said she uploaded a van morning ritual and a video about releasing familial guilt through healing affirmations, but no footage from my place. So maybe the threat worked. My mom says she had a lovely Thanksgiving. She seems to be pretending nothing bad happened. My dad wants to take her to the beach for Christmas and invited me and my partner along. No mention of Mark. I guess we'll see what happens. For now, I've got a dog bed in the laundry room and a big old turkey sandwich with my name on it. Edit. Thanks for the support, everyone. And to the person who DM'd me to ask if the dog's name is Tofurkey, no, but I might consider it. Update 2. Hey again, Reddit. I wasn't planning another update, but, well, you know how these things go. Once the turkey settles and the adrenaline fades, real life keeps happening. And in my case, real life now includes a very large dog, a fractured family group chat, and a surprise phone call that left me yelling into a pillow. Let's pick up from where we left off. Thanksgiving ended with Mark and Pam bailing early in a dramatic storm of passive aggression and abandoning, their giant dog in my garage. After a furious call from Mark telling me to just keep the damn dog, we haven't heard a peep from him. Not a text, not a check-in, not even a sarcastic emoji. The dog, meanwhile, who I've started calling Beans because my partner joked he's full of gas and mystery, has been adjusting surprisingly well. He's clumsy and terrified of the vacuum, but he's sweet. We took him to the vet that Saturday to make sure he was chipped. He is. Healthy. He is. And, not a legal liability. Thankfully, no previous bite history or anything sketchy. The vet scanned his info and asked if we wanted to list ourselves as his emergency contacts. I hesitated. Then I said yes. Bean stays. We buy him a bed. He chooses the couch. He starts sleeping in the laundry room but ends up sprawled across my partner's feet every night. He knocked over a lamp trying to chase a moth and somehow stepped into the cat's litter box. It's chaos. But it's happy chaos. My house feels less empty. My partner jokes we've accidentally become parents to a rescue that rescued us. Typical dog person stuff. You get it. But things with the family? A whole other story. The day after Thanksgiving, the group chat was oddly quiet. My cousin dropped a "great food yesterday, thanks OP," and my aunt sent a blurry picture of the turkey with an accidental thumbs up. My dad posted a beach photo and wrote, "Countdown to Christmas getaway." But no one mentioned the incident. Then, 4 days later, Mark finally responded. He sent a massive paragraph. I won't paste the whole thing. And honestly, it read like a long-winded blog post. But here are the highlights. He's deeply disappointed in me and my lack of ethical growth. Says I created an unsafe space for his partner by asking her not to film in my bedroom. Okay. Claims I weaponized hospitality to humiliate them publicly. And the kicker, he's decided to step back from the family for his own healing process and to protect Pam's energy, right? Because nothing protects your partner's energy like abandoning a dog in your sister's garage and disappearing into the sunset. My mom didn't respond. My dad just sent thumbs up. I had to fight every urge not to reply with a picture of beans wrapped in a holiday blanket next to a turkey bone. I didn't. Growth, right? I kept things civil. Sent Mark a short message. You're welcome to your decisions, but you don't get to rewrite what happened. If you'd like to talk calmly and privately, I'm open to that. Beans is fine, by the way. No response. Meanwhile, Pam? Oh, Pam. She did, in fact, post about Thanksgiving. Not footage from my house, thank God. But she did upload a multi-part storytime video titled Holiday Boundaries and Why I Walked Away. My cousin, who should honestly be promoted to Chief Gossip Officer, watched all 3 parts and gave me a hilarious blow-by-blow recap. Apparently, Pam painted herself as the brave victim of a hostile meat environment and claimed she had to flee a violent energy space where she wasn't respected. She said something like, even the dog knew it wasn't safe. The dog, the one they forgot. If Beans had opposable thumbs, I swear he'd sue for slander. Anyway, we flagged the video. Not out of revenge, but because she mentioned my job in passing and used our city's name. That's enough to make my hospital's legal team twitchy. I sent a polite cease and desist message via my cousin's burner account. Don't ask. And the videos came down 2 days later. But the real cherry on this disaster Sunday? My mom invited them to Christmas. She called me last weekend and said, "Honey, I know it was a mess, but maybe we can all just start over. The holidays are a time for family," and Mark sounded so hurt. Y'all, I love my mom. She is the reason I stayed sane through med school. She makes killer banana bread. But she also has a deeply embedded belief that if everyone just sits down and talks it out over pie, centuries of generational trauma will melt away like butter on biscuits. I told her, gently but firmly, that if Pam sets foot in my house again, I will change the Wi-Fi name to Meat Eater's Delight and put beef jerky in the welcome basket. She sighed and said she understood. Then she asked if she could send Beans a Christmas sweater. Progress? My dad, on the other hand, has doubled down. He called Mark last week, again, and said that if they can't behave like respectful adults, they're not welcome at the Christmas trip. He's got a no-drama policy now. Said he's too old to deal with dietary martyrs and TikTok clowns. I've never loved him more. So that's where we're at. Beans is curled up beside me, snoring like a lawnmower. My partner is baking banana bread, possibly to bribe my mom. We're looking forward to a peaceful beach holiday with my parents, aunt, and cousin. No megaphones, no lentil loafs, no ring lights. Just ocean air, paperback novels, and maybe a grilled cheese if we're feeling rebellious. TLDR. Mark and Pam vanished post-Thanksgiving, left their dog behind, then blamed me for their self-inflicted drama. Pam made vague influencer videos about her trauma. My mom wants everyone to make up, and my dad is ready to exile them to a tofu-free island. Beans the dog is now officially mine. 10 out of 10, good boy. Edit. For everyone asking, yes, I got Beans a Christmas sweater. It says emotional support turkey. He hates it. We're working on it. Final update. Hey Reddit. Hope everyone survived the holidays with their dignity, mostly, intact. I promised one last update, and since I'm now officially back on my hospital grind, this is probably the last time I'll be able to post for a while. Let's call this Christmas on the Coast, starring low drama, high carbs, and a surprising plot twist. So after the Thanksgiving debacle, the plan was simple. Take my mom to the beach for Christmas, eat real food, breathe salt air, and bask in the fact that no one at the table would demand I explain where my butter came from. Guests, me, my partner, my parents, my aunt, my cousin, not invited, Mark and Pam. Or so we thought. We rented a beautiful house a few hours away from the city. Big kitchen, wraparound porch, even a tiny private path to the shore. It had this weathered blue and white paint job that made it feel like a set from a Nancy Meyers movie. My mom teared up when we walked in. She said it was the most peaceful place she's felt all year. So far, so good. Beans came, of course. We'd cleared it with the rental agency and packed up his bed, chew toys, doggy seatbelt harness. Yes, we're those people now. And an entire bag of sweet potato treats. My dad kept sneaking him bites of bacon when he thought no one was watching. We spent the first 2 days walking the beach, drinking coffee, and doing a holiday puzzle while arguing over whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I started thinking, okay, maybe this can be the new tradition. No drama, just peace. Then, the night of Christmas Eve, my mom's phone buzzes. Guess who? Mark. She didn't answer at first, just stared at the screen like it was radioactive. But a few minutes later, she stepped out onto the porch and called him back. She was out there a while. When she came back in, she looked off, quiet. She said everything was fine, but I know her fine face. It's the same one she used when I backed her car into a pole at 16. We didn't press. I figured she'd say something when she was ready. We're all in pajamas, cinnamon rolls in the oven, music playing, Beans wearing his Christmas sweater. Yes, still, emotional support turkey. He tolerates it now. When Mom clears her throat and says, I need to tell you all something. Long pause. Then, Mark and Pam broke up. Cue collective blinking. No one knew what to say. Even Beans tilted his head like, wait, what? Mom went on to explain that Pam had gotten a brand deal, something to do with a raw juice retreat in Costa Rica, and apparently told Mark she was going solo. Not because they were fighting, but because he wasn't aligned with the brand's core vibrations. Yes, that's what she actually said. I had to bite my lip to keep from laughing. Mark had called Mom, upset and maybe a little drunk, to vent. He said Pam left him at a truck stop in New Mexico. He's still in the van trying to reevaluate his path. He wanted to come to the beach house just for the day to apologize, to see the dog. I waited for the punchline. It didn't come. My mom looked at me and said, "It's your house this time. It's your call." And honestly, that moment told me everything I needed to know. She finally saw it wasn't just family drama. It was real, and it affected me. It affected her. She was tired, and so was I. But she respected that I had boundaries. She was letting me choose. I thought about it. Then I said, if he comes for just the day, if he comes alone, and he behaves like a normal person, okay, cue surprise faces. Even my dad looked up from his crossword like, really? But here's the thing. I wasn't doing it for Mark. I was doing it for Mom. And maybe selfishly to see if Mark actually meant it when he said he wanted to apologize. Spoiler, he did come. And it was weirdly okay. He showed up around 3 p.m. alone. No tofu, no lectures, no Instagram filters. He looked rough, like, I slept in a Walmart parking lot for 3 days and had a spiritual awakening. Rough. He brought a bottle of wine and a bag of tennis balls for Beans. He didn't ask to stay, didn't bring up Pam, just said, thanks for letting me stop by. And then he sat on the deck, tossed a tennis ball for Beans, and helped my dad carve the roast chicken like nothing had happened. At dinner, he said grace. Mark said grace. I didn't even know he remembered how. He said, thanks for second chances, for forgiveness, and for the dog who probably loves you more than he ever liked me. Beans barked right then. Perfect timing. Everyone laughed. Mark and I had a real conversation after dinner. Just the two of us. No yelling. No guilt tripping. He said he knew he'd screwed up. That he let someone else's voice get louder than his own. That he's trying to figure out who he is when he's not being someone's echo chamber. He said he didn't know if we'd ever be close again, but he hoped we could at least be honest. I told him honesty was a good start. He left before sunset, hugged Mom, gave Beans a kiss on the head, and told my dad, I hear Costa Rica's too humid anyway. So, that's it. The saga of vegan Thanksgiving is over. Pam's off selling detox teas to some jungle commune. Mark's somewhere in Arizona posting sunrise photos with sad haikus. And Beans is curled up next to me as I write this, snoring like a chainsaw. My mom said this was the best Christmas she's had in years. My dad said, not bad, considering no one cried or got arrested. High praise. I don't know what happens next with Mark. And that's okay. Sometimes the most you can ask from family is a quiet moment of peace, a shared plate, and a willingness to try again. TLDR. Mark and Pam broke up. Pam left him in New Mexico for a juice cleanse opportunity. Mark came to Christmas alone, gave a genuine apology, and is trying to unlearn some stuff. Beans is thriving. My mom is happy. We survived the holidays without any side dishes being weaponized. Edit. Thanks to everyone who followed this saga. Your comments made me laugh, cry, and feel very, very validated. Happy New Year to all of you, and may your families be just the right amount of chaotic in 2025.